The honourable member for Dartmouth Cole Harbour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'm pleased to have an opportunity to participate for a few moments on this bill. And I got to tell you that, like every piece of legislation we've seen from this government since they were elected in 2011, the devil really is in the details. That they introduced the legislation and they put on a folksy title, and they claim it's everything but sliced bread, and then you start to dig into it. Then you start to pick through it, and you see what's really going on. And that's why, you know, the move to limit debate is so egregious. You know, again, it's the question of this government not wanting us to have an opportunity to understand exactly what the ramifications are of various provisions, to talk with our constituents, to be able to bring that information back here to this House. But that's certainly the style of this government that we've come to know and not like very much, and we'll do the best we can with it. The part of this bill that I find so troubling, and there are a number, so troubling, is how it is going to make it more difficult for voters, going to make it more difficult for Canadians to vote. I've been involved, Mr. Speaker, as a politician and as an adult educator and a community activist now for nearly 30 years, trying to work with people in my community and people in communities across this country to encourage people to vote, to encourage people to take the opportunity to exercise their right to vote. And I understand that there are barriers that exist, and there's barriers that have existed for decades, if not hundreds of years, for different groups, Mr. Speaker. And we've had to fight hard to remove the barriers, to remove the exclusions, so that more Canadians have an opportunity to participate in the electoral process. But it's a tough slog. And what other countries are doing is other countries are making it easier. They're making, you know, agencies that are involved in regulating and administering the election process are given more powers and more opportunities to promote opportunities to vote, to make it easier, to come up with ways to either through the situation of polling booths or through electronic voting or through other means to make it easier for people to participate, because that's an inalienable right that we have in this country and other countries, democracies around the world. We want to not only protect it, but we want to expand it. We want to get it out there to everybody. Now, what it seems that this government values most is they value somebody that owns property, that's stable, that's in one location, that receives mail. In fact, receives direct mail from the Conservative Party or, for that matter, from any of the other political parties. But, you know, that's only a small fraction of the population, Mr. Speaker, that is that involved in the political process, that they're on mailing lists and they contribute to the parties and they receive regular updates about what's going on in the political process and what's going on with elections. There are a lot of people out there that have decided, for reasons I don't necessarily agree with, but they're reasons that they find justifiable, that the electoral process is not for them, that the government does not serve their interests, that they are disenchanted and feeling somewhat cynical about the political process. And we need to do everything we can and continue to do everything we can to encourage these people. And whatever it is during an election, whatever it is that I say or my colleagues say or anybody says or Elections Canada or anybody else, whatever it is that motivates a Canadian to cast their ballot, we need to make sure that they have an opportunity. We have rules to make sure that all the polling booths, polling stations are completely accessible for people that have physical barriers. We are trying to bring in all kinds of different measures to make sure that people can vote not on one specific day, but on many specific days. We are exploring in this country, and certainly it's been done at provincial level, opportunities for electronic voting, doing all kinds of things. There are groups of Canadians, some would suggest that they're vulnerable Canadians. I don't know if that's necessarily a good word, but they're Canadians nonetheless who are on the move. Whether they're young Canadians that are at university, they're out looking for jobs, that are moving around, whether it's other types of Canadians that are in that type of mobile environment, living that kind of mobile lifestyle. And they need opportunities, any opportunity. We need to remove all barriers that may exist for them to be able to have an opportunity to cast a ballot. Mr. Speaker, our rates of participation are in the 60% range, and I tell you, I go out and I talk to junior highs and high schools and universities students, and trying to impress upon them that they have a responsibility as a citizen to participate, and we have a responsibility as parliamentarians to make sure that if they decide during any given election that they are going to participate, that we make it as easy as we possibly can. Because whether it's because they don't get mail, or whether it is because they're not paying attention, because they're trying to put food on their table and they're trying to make sure that they've got a roof over their heads, or they're trying to stay safe. Mr. Speaker, they're not focused on these particular issues. They're not paying attention. And what this bill does is it's not going to make it easier on those people, or on any other Canadians for that matter. It's going to make it more difficult. And as I go through this, and as I've already talked to some of my constituents about it, they're very worried about the direction that this government is doing. Taking away the ability of the CEO of Elections Canada to be able to expand their reach, to make sure that Canadians know what's going on, and they're encouraged at each and every opportunity to be able to participate, Mr. Speaker. Taking away the powers of the Chief Electoral Officer instead of increasing those powers. He appeared before a standing committee this afternoon, and he said, you may have heard the parliamentary secretary or the minister when he introduced this bill. He suggested that both the commissioner and Elections Canada wore a team jersey, suggesting that they're all a bunch of partisans. And what the Chief Electoral Officer said was that, in fact, he's wearing a striped jersey. In other words, he's the referee, and as a result of this bill, he's going to be completely taken off the ice. Mr. Speaker, it seems, and I've heard this already, and I don't know, I'm going to have more conversation with Canadians in Dartmouth Cole Harbour, because I don't want people to get more cynical of the process. But it seems like this bill has a couple of different intentions. One is that where Elections Canada has tried to clean up some election procedures that have been carried out by some members of Parliament on that side, they're taking away the powers of Elections Canada to be able to follow through with that thing, with those issues. They're increasing their ability to raise money in areas where the Conservative Party has the most reach. When they talk about a long reach, that's what they're talking about, Mr. Speaker, the Conservative Party being able to get into people's pockets even further. So this bill, called erroneously the Fair Elections Act, is tipping the balance to the Conservative Party, to this government. It's away from Canadians being able to participate actively and equally in the political process. I'm going to talk to my constituents and come back here and share their concerns with this government. Thank you.